heavyweight battle between that man, Nikola Jokic, and the other side with SGA. Actually, Jamal Murray getting into the act. In the third quarter, the Nuggets would open up a lead. Jay Will behind their two stars.
Yeah, their two stars were able to really carry the load offensively, but you felt like this team was getting out of gas, especially going into the fourth quarter.
Jokic and Murray outscored the Thunder themselves in the third. They had an 8-point lead, and then as Windy pointed out, they didn't give Jokic a rest going into the fourth quarter. Maybe that was a factor. Lou Dort hitting big shots.
Made 3 threes in a row to cut into that 8-point lead.
The Thunder now get within 2, and then we've got later in the quarter, we're tied at 96 in SGA. In the painted area, he scored 31. Thunder a 2-point lead. Back and forth we go. What a game. Jokic on the putback. We're tied at 98. 3 minutes to go. Same score. SGA, how about this? Little throwing it up.
Go get it, big fella.
Throws it down. And then 3 minutes to go. Nuggets down by 2. UD, how about Jokic?
Man, look at this shot fake getting down there in the paint. No athleticism. Over Chet hog. Teardrop, baby.
Tied at 100. Jokic had 44 and 15. Back the other way. SGA plus the foul. Thunder by 3. Next possession. How about this shot?
This is ridiculous right here. Over a 7'3" guy. Turn around, pivot, behind the head, just throw it up, put a little touch on it, and look at him. He knew it was going in. He just sat there and watched it. Take that with you. Take that with you, Chet.
If they had won this game, that would have been the shot of the playoffs. But they didn't, because Jalen Williams made the biggest shot of his life on the other end. Thunder a 3-point lead, and then SGA the dagger. And the Thunder go on to win it 112-105. They take a 3-2 series lead in what was an absolute classic between the two leading candidates for MVP. Thunder storming back in the fourth, outscoring the Nuggets by 15, shooting 56% from the floor and on threes. Jokic was 4 of 6 in that quarter as teammates were 1 of 15 in the final quarter. It was a classic NBA heavyweight fight. Winman, what's the first thing to say about OKC going up 3-2 last night?
The stat that you just read was the defining stat. I know that we see incredible play from the 2 MVPs. We believe Shea's going to get his in the very near future. But the 1 of 15 from Jokic's supporting cast in the fourth quarter defined this game. At one point, they went 7 minutes without a basket. There's just no way that you can sustain against a quality team like the Thunder, who go 10 players deep. And yes, Shea was able to make huge plays down the stretch. He also got great shot making and great support from his supporting cast. This is a incredible player, championship player, going up against a championship level team. That's what the Thunder really proved with this comeback victory.
Yeah, Jokic was magnificent last night, but how about SGA, Jay? He's going to be the MVP of the league. I think we all expect that to happen, and he deserves to be. But is it his time? Does he look like a player rounding into his time?
Think about how he closed. I mean, if we could play that last play again, right? The way you attack the opposing team's best offensive player is you attack them defensively. The first screen, Jokic gets up there on the first screen. The second screen, he drops back because he's tired. He's exhausted. SGA recognizes that. He attacks that. That is the dagger. How you close games matters. And this is why one of the reasons people believe that SGA is going to be the MVP.
And you, UD, were making the point earlier, you think we're seeing them mature right before our eyes, not year to year, but game to game.
Yes, right between game 3 and this game right here. You look at game 3 and they just didn't execute down the stretch. It didn't feel like they had flow. It didn't seem like the ball got where it needed to be. Only 2 points in overtime. I think this game they made the adjustment. SGA made all the right plays. You look down, he comes and just makes one pass to Jalen Williams in the corner, wide open, make the easy play. Oftentimes when you have a guy that's ultra talented, the hardest thing to do, and you know this, Jay Will, because I wasn't as talented as you, is to get you guys just to make the easy.
Give it up.
And he made the easy play down the stretch, and we watched that maturation and that growth within 2 games.
But UD, to your point, remember last year versus Dallas? 2-2. In that same moment, team that was young, all of a sudden Dallas went up 3-2, series was over.
Yes.
Not this year. It feels different with the maturity level of this team.
It's been said so many times. Michael Wilbon, I can't count the number of times he said to me, Winman, when I was doing the NBA countdown shows for 2 seasons, you have to go through the heartache.
Yes.
Teams don't win championships until they have their hearts broken. This OKC team had their hearts broken last year when they were the favorites and they lose a series that I'm sure they thought they should have won against Dallas. Is it their time? As Jim Nantz once famously asked about Phil Mickelson, is it their time right now in OKC, Windy?
Yeah, so if you look at how they're handling the stress a little bit better, specifically Jalen Williams last night, and how they've built out the roster, Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hardenstein both played big roles in this game, big roles in this series. That's where they're different year over year. I received some criticism after I said this yesterday when I mentioned that this series with the Knicks and the Celtics is not over. Here's where I now say this series is also not over. They have to go back to Game 6. You know Jokic is going to be full power. You know the supporting cast for the Nuggets could play better at home. Yes, it was a huge win for the Thunder. This series is also not over.
I just want to give Daigneault credit because in Game 1, the mismanagement of fouls was a really big story. The fact that he kept staying with Lou Dort, considering he has not been shooting the ball well from the three-point line. He benched him to keep him in the game, for him to make 3 consecutive threes. I think that was a huge coaching moment for Daigneault and his belief in his players.
And to piggyback off that, you saw who was guarding him when he made all the shots, the Joker. He was the guy that Joker was supposed to be resting and taking time off on the defensive end, and they made him pay.
Joker, it should not be overlooked. I just want to say these numbers again.
Stupid numbers.
Nikola Jokic was 17 of 25 in the game last night, 5 of 7 from 3, made all his foul shots, had 44 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists. He's
the best player in the world, and he answered the bell.
God bless him.
He answered the bell.
They didn't win the game. It certainly wasn't because of him. Last night in the East, the Cavaliers trying to keep their season alive against that man, Tyrese Halliburton, and the Pacers. Early, it looked like the Cavs were going to do just that. They led by as many as 19, but Halliburton bringing them back.
It's just to remind you that Hallie was hurt last season when everybody was calling him the most overrated player in the league. How's that working out for you?
Halliburton had a great first half, made 5 threes. They cut a 19
from the logo. Off the pick and roll from the logo.
And it's a rainbow shot.
Cut a 19-point lead to 4 at the break. Now the Pacers are up 4.5 minutes to play. Halliburton, defense, going the other way. He had 31.
UD, don't muscle him.
Use the defense to initiate offense. They want to run anyway. The best way to do it is to get a steal or a turnover.
2.5 to play. Donovan Mitchell down 9. Desperate to keep his season alive. That's a big 3, makes it 6. Then he's going to get fouled shooting a 3. We should have no problem here, right, Jay Well?
An 86% free throw shooter throughout the regular season, but he was exhausted in this game. Exhausted.
He missed all 3. We'll show you all 3 free throws. First time in his career he's gone 0 for 3 from the line after being fouled on a 3. But his teammates would back him up. Evan Mobley with the block on one end, and back we go the other way, and it's Mitchell with a chance for redemption. The name is Donovan Mitchell. Cavs within 3. Mitchell 35 points, 9 rebounds, but too much Pacers at the end. Andrew Nembhard, huge shot in the paint. Pacers win it 114-105. They're on to the conference finals. Donovan Mitchell, the season is over.
Getting beat down like this, and y'all are going to write some about us, man. And that's going to be fuel. Like, fuel for everybody. Y'all going to say a lot. Y'all are. And that's what it takes. So, get in the gym, weight room, nutrition, whatever the hell it is, and get back at it, because y'all going to write us the man. But we'll be back. Let city down, let each other down. We'll be back.
UD, as we were listening to that soundbite, you used one word to describe what he was saying. What was that word?
Leadership. That is leadership. I mean, you have to have, and here's another Rileyism for you. You have to have so many sleepless nights that winning is the only option. You have to have so many sleepless nights that winning is the only option. And it's kind of ruined me over my life because I don't know how to do anything else but win, or I would lose sleep over it. But that's how I've lived my life, and I see it right now.
So you liked what he said there?
I love it. I love it. I love it. They deserve all the criticism. Yeah, bring it on. Bring it on. We're gonna get in the gym. Don't quiet the noise. Listen to it. Let it burn. Let it sink in. Listen to what they're saying about you. I used to tell all my guys, pay attention to what they're saying about you. It's a message inside the message. So listen to all that noise, take it, and internalize it, and build on it.
Well, the reality is the criticism is fair.
Yes.
The criticism is fair. Like when you have the most franchise wins that they've had, second most in franchise history, when you have the coach of the year, when you have the defensive player of the year, when you have all these awards, and Donovan Mitchell has done a great job this season of passing the baton to Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, all these guys. This was their time. And when you look at the history of his career, making 8 playoffs and 8 seasons, he's had early exits in every single one. So he doesn't like it. I love it. That's motivation. He does need to get his ass back in the gym. I think he will get there going through the hard times. But early exits, criticism's fair.
On the other side, Winman, if people were listening to you on this show and others, they would not be surprised to find the Indiana Pacers 8 wins away from an NBA championship. What have you been saying all along?
They're a whale of a team. They are a high seed masquerading as a middling seed because they got off to a bad start because of injuries. They have a remarkable style of play, Greeny. Typically in the playoffs, teams slow down. It's the nature of the game. They say, no, we're going to speed up, and they have the personnel to do it. They have very athletic wings. They have a closer in Tyrese Halliburton. They have depth. And they have an excellent coach who knows how to get the most out of their team in the most important time of the year. This is the second consecutive year Rick Carlisle has gotten it done. There is no excuses for this team. They have absolutely just flat out beat the opponents in front of them. Yes, the Cavs had some injuries, but they flat out beat them.
What did you say? They are 42-16 now, Indiana, since January 1st. Was that the number? So you said it. They're hiding in plain sight as a legitimate contender.
That's a 1 seed. That's a 1 seed.
All right, the news from Boston yesterday was exactly what we feared it would be. Superstar forward Jayson Tatum underwent surgery to repair a ruptured right Achilles tendon. He suffered the injury late in the fourth quarter of Monday night's Game 4 against the Knicks. Team said the surgery was a success. No timetable is available for his return. First and foremost, we wish the very best for a speedy and full recovery to Jayson Tatum. Having said that, the playoffs continue for his team. The Celtics were 9-2 without him this year. That includes a first-round playoff win against Orlando. Both their losses actually were against the Magic. It's worth noting the only playoff teams that Boston played without Tatum was Orlando and Detroit. Now, even without Tatum, the Celtics are favored tonight. They're a 4.5-point favorite at home. They are significant underdogs, however, in the series. The Knicks, as you see at ESPN Bet Sportsbook, are minus 600, which, if you don't speak gambling, is a prohibitive, significant favorite. But again, the Celtics are favored by 4.5 tonight. And Wendy, you just hinted at something. You were in Boston. You said that you got criticism yesterday for suggesting the series isn't over. What was the criticism, and what is your thinking on it not being over?
Yeah, well, I just think, there's such momentum for the Knicks, and I agree. They've played brilliantly, and they won that game regardless of the Tatum injury. Even if that terrible moment hadn't happened, they were going to win that game, and they've earned being up 3-1. But the Celtics are going to be a lot to knock out. And, there's people who agree with me. Those people are on the Knicks. This might be the first time the Knicks have gotten this close as a team, but you look at their players, a lot of them have a lot of deep playoff experience, whether it's OG Anunoby, whether it's even Jalen Brunson, who won championships as a college player. They know this is going to be a big challenge. And I know naturally people are going to keep an eye on Jaylen Brown and expect more out of him. And as a former finals MVP, I understand that. But I think the Celtics need something from Kristaps Porzingis tonight as well. Porzingis is a player who was a difference maker in the regular season against the Knicks. He has been ill again, and he has only averaged 5 points a game on 28% shooting in this series. But if they're going to be able to create separation from this Knicks so formidable, they've got to go to this weapon that they haven't tapped into over the last 4 games.
Okay, let's dive into it here, Jay Will. Give me the very specifics. Go.
It's because UD's here. Look, this is a man check, dog. This is a man check. I don't care what you say in post-game interviews. I don't care what you say in pregame speeches. None of that stuff matters. What matters is your body language, your intensity, your eyes, your passion you show on the court.
Who are we talking about?
I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about the $300 million man. I'm talking about the 7'3" unicorn.
Yes.
I'm talking about Drew Holiday strapping people up. I'm talking about Derek White, who was lost defensively. I'm talking about everybody. Joe Mazzulla. This is an energy level thing. You better damn defend home court, or you got your ass cooked 3 times in a row. You ever won a game at home?
Yes.
In a closeout scenario, that's the kind of energy you need to show me tonight. It's a gut check.
Yeah, they're definitely being judged. I mean, everybody always talks about how they won it last year, and I know they won it, and you take your ring and you go home and you enjoy it, but Teams were not at 100%. This is an opportunity where people are testing your heart. You got to step up to the plate. We need to see Jaylen Brown of the Eastern Conference Finals MVP last year. We need to see the Jaylen Brown that averaged 30, that shot 40% from three, that shot 51% from the field. Yes, you're going to have matchups that you can attack, but you need to hunt that Cat matchup. You need to hunt that Brunson matchup. And then when you have OG, you still need to be aggressive, and you need to get in the paint. You need to make other guys better. And on the defensive end, just like you set the tone in the finals against Luka, we need the same intensity. We need the same focus.
All I'm going to tell you is I've known Jayson Tatum for a long time. I'm not going to tell you about our conversation, but he's devastated.
Oh, I can't.
He's devastated right now. Do it for him. Do it for that's
your brother.
UD,
your
you
brother.
know this.
Your
brother goes down in battle. This
Great
is
point.
we got to get this one.
Protect your
we can
brother.
worry about game 6, game 7 later. That dude put everything on the line. 42, tore his Achilles, crying in a wheelchair. All this stuff. We got to do it for him.
This is bigger than basketball tonight.
Yeah, man.
You're being
It has
judged.
to be.
You're being judged. You're being judged.
Talk to me about that, because you've got a confluence of circumstances if you're the Celtics. One, you just watched your teammate, your brother, and your best player suffer a devastating injury, in what is generally considered the worst injury an athlete can suffer in today's game or today's world, which is the Achilles. Plus, you're also watching your best player lie on the ground. You've lost him, and you're facing elimination. Take me through the mentality of the Celtics tonight.
You have every reason to let go of the rope. You have every excuse in the world to let go of the rope. But what I'll tell you right now is the playoffs has a way of revealing what's inside you. So right now we're going to see what's inside the Boston Celtics tonight.
And by the way, defensively, they have not been good. I mean, we did a breakdown in hour 1 where we talked about Jalen Brunson creating, but the miscues defensively were enormous with how we saw.
Too much space.
So if anything, like, UD, and I know you're built this way, like, don't be surprised in the first minute if you just see a technical foul or a really hard foul right out of the gate.
Why?
So I'm going to set a standard.
Why is Jalen Brunson not seeing the Joker defense? Why are we not shrinking the elbows? Why are we not making the ball kick? He should never get in the paint where it shouldn't be shrunken elbows where he has to kick the ball. Make it a priority. Be vulnerable. Make your man score. We know you have great defenders in Derek White and Drew Holiday, but they clearly cannot handle this guy one-on-one.
But also, UD, if he comes down the paint, why isn't he on his back?
Hey, listen.
You know what I mean?
Guess what?
I'm just saying,
guess
one
what?
time.
And you better not help him up, because guess what? The more you have to get up, the tireder you're going to get.
Let me ask my players here what might be a very facile question for you, but might not be for everybody else. The Celtics are going to shoot 43s in this game. That's what they do. They've gotten good looks. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. How much more complicated is that for them to get those good looks when Tatum is not on the floor? How does it affect the looks they're going to get from 3 tonight, not having Tatum in their lineup?
I mean, it affects it a lot. He's a guy who definitely gets in the paint. He draws so much attention, and he's a guy who gets other guys involved. But like I said, you have to hunt that Cat matchup in the pick and roll. You have to hunt that Brunson matchup in the pick and roll. Those are two guys who you can exploit defensively, get in the paint. That will help you make other guys better.
Is it possible they shoot fewer threes than in that circumstance?
I think you are who you are.
You're going to
you
shoot
don't want
the
to
threes.
reinvent the wheel now, but I think you shoot smart threes and you play the game the right way.
I'm also going to tell that 7'3" unicorn, yo, you got 5 months to rest.
Man.
Okay?
Man.
So this 24 minutes thing,
We need that finals energy. We need that energy coming back in the
You
finals.
unlock everything.
Yes.
You unlock everything. And every pick and roll, they can't guard it, puts them into rotation. I'm going to need you 30 minutes plus tonight.
Wendy, get in here.
Yeah, I think the thing is the Celtics really haven't changed their game plan that much. They've really just believed in their tactics and believed in what's gotten them here, and they've just believed that if they just roll it out, that eventually it's going to win. Well, now they have lost their star, so they have got to change. So what they change tactically tonight will be very interesting, in addition to the spirit that they might play with facing elimination.
So you just said way better than I did what I was trying to ask, which is like, there's always adjustments, right? I mean, you're only at game 5, and now some sort of major adjustment has to take place because the best player on the floor is no longer out there. So that's what I'm asking you is what do you adjust if you're the Celtics?
I mean, you play the game offensively the same way you play the game. Defensively, you play the game the same way you play it defensively, but you're going to need Kristaps Porzingis and another X factor. Somebody is going to have to star in their role tonight. I don't know who that would be. It could be Peyton Pritchard. It could be Al Horford. Somebody's going to have to star in that role. But I believe that they have the habits. They've built the habits over these years. I don't believe you changed right now in this situation. So you play and be who you are.
I'll tell you one of the things tactically, stop gambling. They gamble a ton. Derek White has gambled a ton on reaches.
Yes.
Jayson Tatum has gambled. Don't gamble. Stay disciplined. Force them to make tough, contested shots.
And I got one more thing. Multiple efforts. We have not seen multiple efforts from the Boston Celtics right now. It might take 2 efforts. It might take 3 efforts. It might take 4 efforts. You don't know how many efforts it's going to take in a possession. However many efforts it takes to get that possession, to get that win in that particular possession, you need to do it. I have not seen multiple efforts. All those plays that we showed early on those clips, there were no shrinking elbows. There were no rear view contests. There was none of that.
And you know what? If you get tired, get your ass out.
NBA,